Hello again. Today we're going to be just doing a quick overview of the brand new 20 round magazine, the T68, which also fits the Milsig range of markers. Here it is. This is what it looks like in the T68. Pretty much the same for you guys who've already got your T68s as the older style 18 round magazine. The outward appearance of the magazine, and it works in exactly the same way, is almost exactly the same as well. Simply slots in, just like the old style magazine. It's slightly longer, hardly noticeable, but obviously it's got to be slightly longer for those extra 2 rounds you're going to be carrying. The previous one was 18 rounds, this one 20 rounds. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so there it is, there's the 20 round magazine. The outward appearance, as I said before, is pretty much the same, apart from its length, and the old 18 round magazine. The only slight difference is a little detent in here which is actually removable, and to take the mag apart you'd need to remove it if you should so feel that you have to take the magazine apart. Wouldn't recommend it without contacting us first, but basically it's identical. The winder, the feed neck, the ball inside the feed neck, it's all the same. Here is an 18 round magazine, and the difference is quite apparent in regard to length. You can see from that the length difference. Otherwise, identical. So that was a close-up. What we can actually do now is we're going to take you away and show you the internals of both the magazines, the new and the old. For those of you guys who have had your magazine for a while now and you may want to maintain it, stripping it down, I'm just going to show you a quick overview of the similarities. I mean, it's almost identical, so we'll just run you through that with a nice close-up so you can see the internals, and that should give you all the information you need. We'll also pop in a couple of hints there for servicing and maintenance of your magazine at the same time as doing this short promo video. That'll give you a good idea of absolutely everything you need to know about the 20 round magazine and the 18 round magazine. One video, one hit on both magazines. Okay, so here we have the new 20 round and here we have the 18 round. Now you've got the winder on both those. Here's the feed neck. Now when this is wound and is loaded with paintballs, the paintballs are in this sort of direction. You'll see the internals in a second. This feed neck here, once it's slotted into the marker, compresses. So that slots in and it compresses, which in turn releases some ball bearings, which are sat around here, which hold the paintballs in. There's also a lever on here, which presses in, and that actually releases the line which is in here and pushes the paintballs up under sprung pressure, basically. Now to get inside these, as I say, if you've been advised to do this, you've had the okay, it's okay to do it, but it's just pop these caps off. A screwdriver is often the best way. Can be a little bit stubborn. Just release these like so. Now this is got a spring inside, so you need to be careful when you take it apart to actually watch what the spring does. Make sure it's not fully wound as well before you start to take it apart. Now with the new 20 round, you just take out that part there. And just gently release it. And you'll see the internals are as such. This actually comes out, this feed net. Now as you can see from this picture, it actually sits inside like so. And when you wind, it compresses the spring. Now what you can get, and what we would advise to do when you first get your magazine and every time you want to load it, is make sure you push this component in first. So before you load and before you start to wind, push this component in, hold your finger there, wind, and once it starts to go down, that's fine. Because what can happen is this, once it's expired and all the paintballs are out, it will sit on these ball bearings. Now if you just wind away, you'll stretch the line inside because there's a lot of restriction on here. So just push that in, then wind. This will save stretching this line which runs between, there's a line which is in here, you may be able to see it just about here, it runs inside the spring. That line can stretch if you don't depress the ball at the top before you wind. So we recommend you do that. There's a catch mechanism here. Now this is what's been upgraded in the 20 round version. If we just have a quick zoom in, you'll be able to see the catch mechanism. There we go. It should be able to focus. It's actually a new mechanism. It's completely plastic. The old one was metal, had some very, very strong teeth on it. This is it's been upgraded due to feedback, etc. of the previous version. It's a much improved version. The other old versions didn't have huge amounts of problems with them, but obviously with everything there can be issues. This is very, very simple to put back together. What we recommend is a bit of silicone spray on this component here and just in general around the channel which this travels in. Oil would be too thick unless you put a very, very thin coat on, so we wouldn't recommend putting oil on necessarily. So we just recommend putting a light silicone spray onto these components here. So you would put the feed neck back in. And all you need to do is line up the spring into its channel, like so. Put the ball in there, feed it up into there, so you know it can be accurate and it's in the right place. Then all you do is slowly but surely feed this back on. And it can actually be easy to take this off and give it a go then. It takes a little bit of work, of course, if you're dealing with a spring, but just take your time. There's no need to rush it at all. So you lay one side down and then slowly feed the spring back in. So that would be in. Obviously I haven't put the feed neck in. So once that's together, feed that into there. This should give you enough gap to place this in, and then push the feed neck over. Simply turn over, hold it together, and then reinsert your screws. Such. I'll quickly put these screws back in, and that way we can just show you it working again. It's as straightforward as that to take apart. As I say, it can be a little bit fiddly with the spring inside, but it's just persevere, get it all lined up correctly. If it's not going in properly, don't force it, and there you have it. So push in, then wind, and down it goes. And then you can actually release, and that's it. That's the magazine put back together.